5 people injured in apartment shooting in Lexington. Several people injured in early morning shooting on Sunday. This is by Angela Schumpert, published 18 hours ago on June 20th, 2022. So a man was arrested in connection with the shooting that left 5 people injured Sunday at Summer Cove Apartments in Lexington, according to a news release from the Lexington Police Department. Officers were dispatched at 3:45 a.m. to Railroad Avenue, where the victims were waiting for emergency services. According to the release, the 5 victims said they were shot at when they were leaving the Summer Cove Apartments parking lot. Their vehicle was struck multiple times by gunfire. 2 of the victims had to be transported by EMS to the hospital. One victim had a head wound that resulted from a bullet grazing the victim's head. The other victim had been shot in the shoulder. During the investigation, detectives learned of an altercation that took place prior to the shooting between 2 women at the apartment complex in the parking lot. Other information on the assault was not available in the news release. Police later said Bobby Robbins used a rifle to shoot into the vehicle occupied by the 5 victims as it left the complex on Railroad Avenue. Pardon. Want to pause right here. So this is obviously the mugshot of Bobby Robbins, the suspect who they believe shot at these 5 people who have life-changing injuries. There's no such thing as a non-life-changing gunshot wound. Every time somebody is shot, their life is changed forever. It's something that they'll never forget. You'll never know if this person will need, psychological help, if they're going to require amputation, if they're going to require medical therapy for the rest of their lives to recover from their wounds. I want to say that when people hear about mass shootings or hear about shootings in general, and then a black face is put on it, once again, we should de-racialize mass shootings in America, because gun violence and gun crime affects all Americans. There are many Americans who would see this mugshot and say, well, that proves the pathological violence that exists within black men. I see this and I say that's an American who crashed out, threw his life away, or threw away a good chunk of his life, because he'll probably go to jail because of the gun culture in society that permeates. Let's say this guy really had beef with whoever he was shooting at, supposedly, because he's innocent until proven guilty. In another country, in another place, in another time, he would run up, probably fight somebody, maybe use another instrument that would cause less mass harm. But because we exist in a society that allows guns to permeate, this person could then take his anger out on this group of people and do a drive-by, walk-up shooting, however he did, let it off on 5 people. That is the problem. The problem is not black men. The problem is not white men. The problem is not police. The problem is not anybody. It is the society that we allow to exist, where people can solve their differences and disputes with guns, or people who are mentally mentally ill can do horrible things to people with guns. That is the problem. That is the problem. We are all Americans, white, black, Latino, Asian, etc. And we should try to make a society where people like this, who had a problem with somebody, obviously, cannot get their hands on a weapon of mass destruction. And yes, I include pistols as weapons of mass destruction. Robbins was arrested and charged with 5 counts of attempted murder, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, discharging a firearm into a vehicle while occupied, discharging a firearm into a dwelling, and discharging a firearm in the town of Lexington. He is being held at the Lexington County Detention Center awaiting bond. So, once again, people like this should not be seen as why we need more guns. No, we need less guns, because many people will continue to shoot other Americans and kill other Americans over stupid, trivial disputes, or in crimes of passion, or in crimes of terrorism, or crimes where the people are mentally ill and they take their anger and hate or twisted worldview out on innocent civilians. Also, people will say this and say, see, why isn't Black Lives Matter talking about this? First and foremost, Black Lives Matter, the movement, not the organization, the sentiment, not the corporation, is about holding police accountable for when they brutalize black civilians, especially when they are unarmed and presumed innocent of doing a crime. Anybody who commits any type of violence against all civilians should be punished and reprimanded in accordance to the law. Black Lives Matter is not the organization. I don't know anything about Patrice Cullors or her spending billions on a mansion. Black Lives Matter is about making sure that all American citizens, black and white, are treated equally in front of police and in the court of law. This has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. So anybody who wants to see this and say, "See, where's Black Lives Matter when black people are killing other black people?" Shut the fuck up. We're trying to save American lives, not just black American lives. But black American lives are under a certain other type of threat. I've spoken a lot about white supremacy in the past and how it's taking our lives. We don't need to look far. Go to Buffalo, go to Charleston, many other times. So thank you for watching. My name is Simon Hill. Please end the violence. Abolish the Second Amendment.